series. Listen, it's been a weird series where every game that has been played, the road team has won so far, as has been the case for most of these playoffs, unbelievably. At this point, the net is in scoring is, Pacers -1 for the whole series. It's been the complete opposite of the Western Conference Finals, where it's been competitive. It's been down to the wire. Game 1 was an iconic game that I don't think any of us will ever forget in our lifetime. But again, I hate to say it, I know the Indiana Pacers are up 2-1, and I give them full credit for what they did. But the Indiana Pacers, in every single comeback that they have had, the 3 amazing comebacks that they have had, down by 8, down by 9 with a minute to go, they have needed improbable, multiple, clutch, missed free throws from good free throw shooters to even give themselves a chance to win these games. And I'm sorry, it does feel like the Pacers are almost a team of destiny, but at some point it also feels like their luck is going to run out. And we're going to find out tonight whether this series becomes a real series going back to MSG, or whether this thing will be over in 5 going back to MSG.
So even if the Pacers go on to take a 3-1 series lead tonight, I don't think it ends in 5. I think New York will.
Oh, no, I think this will be a Cavs situation where Indiana comes out tonight, especially if they blow the Knicks out tonight. And I'm not saying it has to be by 40 the way they did the Cavs in Game 4, but if it's not close, the Knicks will quit.
On it, I said this in a Discord server the other day. If the Knicks lose in this series, whether it's in 5 or 6 or possibly 7, they should fire Tom Thibodeau. I don't care what anybody says.
I've been saying that they should fire Tom Thibodeau for years. I think the problem is for the Knicks Nation, for that front brass, is it's like, by hook or by crook, whatever you want to call it, they did get by, technically, the team that they were built to beat. We talked about this a little bit last week, right? Last year, Minnesota, right? They were not built to beat Dallas. They were not built to beat every team in the West. Who they were built to beat were the Denver Nuggets. I feel like the Knicks, they may not have been built to beat the Pacers. Hell, they may not have been built to beat the Cavs. The one team they were built to beat was Boston.
Yeah. Granted, they did get lucky in that series with Jason Tatum going down.
Well, I'll push back on that. They were in complete control of that series. They were going to go up 3-1 in that series no matter what. And by the way, they won Game 5 without Tatum. And I think it was kind of like the Minnesota game, Game 3 last night, where it's like a memorial game. Everybody celebrates, and then it's like, okay, we'll take care of business in Game 6. So no, I'll push back. I don't think the Tatum injury affected the result of this series. After the Knicks went up 2-0 by stealing both games in the TD Garden, that series was over.
Even after Boston came into New York and
because the Knicks were going to win Game 4 anyway. They were already up 9 with 2 minutes to go. Boston was not going to come back the way the Indiana Pacers did, because only the Indiana Pacers, literally in the history of the NBA, can do what the Indiana Pacers have done. Part of this is seriously, and it's no knock on the Pacers. I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says. This is the luckiest playoff run in the history of the sport.
Wow. Even though the Miami Heat made it to the NBA Finals as an 8 seed.
But they legitimately beat people down. They didn't come back down 9 with a minute to go 3 separate times. Something that teams were 1 in 2,000 in these scenarios, and the Pacers are 3-2 in these playoffs alone. And again, they needed missed free throws from the likes of OG Anunoby, from the likes of Donovan Mitchell, from the likes of Evan Mobley. Either great or very good, or at least decent enough free throw shooters to where it's like they need a split, and they get it, and they always get the offensive rebound, and the Knicks are lucky that Tyrese Halliburton's foot was on the line in game 1, or he would have called game the same way he called game against the Cavs.
Yeah. By the way, Tyrese Halliburton's dad will be back in the building tonight after serving.
Honestly, I hope it's a non-factor. They're going to bring it up on the broadcast. I hope they don't, because I'll be honest, I really don't give a single crap. I really don't. I think this is a story created by the media. Who cares? Yeah, he talked a little crap to Giannis after they beat him in 5 games. He's the dad of the best player, the best male player in the state of Indiana right now, because obviously Caitlin Clark's the best, but the best male player in the state of Indiana right now, and the freaking Indiana Pacers are about to go to the NBA Finals for the first time since God knows when.
Yeah, and get smoked by the Oklahoma City Thunder, but still. Watch. Indiana, if they get there, they'll somehow push that series to a game 7 because they'll make a freaking comeback.
I don't think there's any shot. I think it will be over in 5. Like, I think Indiana could win game 3 or game 4 at home. But I think Oklahoma City would wind up winning that series. I don't know. Did you answer the question on the screen? I do think Indiana wins tonight. I think it's convincingly.
I'm being that Aaron Nesmith is going to be hobbled. I think this is the game where Jalen Brunson finds his footing. New York evens this series up 2-2.
The one thing that would be crazy about this series is, last year up until game 7, everybody won at home. Could you imagine this year if it's the complete reverse and every team wins on the road and that's how we get to a game 7?
That would be like the 2019 World Series between the Washington Nationals and the Houston Asterisks, where every team in that series won on the road.
Well, baseball, it's supposed to happen. Home field doesn't mean as much in baseball. This is literally not supposed to happen in the NBA. The NBA playoffs, even more than football, because fans are so on top of you in the postseason. Home court is supposed to matter. And I've said it since game 1, if you remember when we brought on Fitz and we talked about this. Since game 1 of this postseason, it has been weird to me how well road teams have played, and specifically how well most of these role players for the teams that are OKC, the Knicks, Indiana, Minnesota, their role players have played better for the most part on the road.
Yeah, and what's crazy is the Knicks actually used their bench in game 3. That's not something they've typically done in these playoffs.
Well, game 3 to me is going to be known as the cat game. Obviously, he goes for 20 in the second half to get them back in the game. But the reason why the Knicks won, they made their free throws. I mean, if you're the Knicks, you're sitting there going, we are seriously about 2 made free throws away, and it's not an exaggeration. They could be up 3-0 in the series if they just made their free throws.
You do have a legitimate argument there.